Okay, so this is today's photo from the article we're going to read, and it's on fastcompany.com's website. So let's go over to the article. This is the original article here, but because it has such a large advert down the bottom, I'll read it on the reading pane, which is this one here. Okay, so we were just talking about what AI slop might mean. So AI is artificial intelligence, and the word slop is often used for something that is poor quality. Poor quality food often does not, but it could be a few other things too. So let me read the title then. So, enjoy AI slop summer. What's coming next is worse. And it's written by Mark Sullivan, and I think it's a 7 to 9 minute read. Okay. So, So what do you think, Elena, Giuseppe, what do you think AI slop is then? What do you think that really refers to? We're probably going to find out as we read, but what do you think so far from what we've said?
Uh,
Uh,
okay.
Giuseppe.
Elena.
Please,
No,
please.
Elena.
Okay.
Ladies first, as they keep saying.
I think it's a lot of negative information or um, false information in videos and
Yes.
images.
So is there a word which might sum that up? Starting with F? Not a rude word. A second F on the screen. Let's put another letter next to it. A vowel.
Mm.
What do you think it might be? Fa.
False. It's more correct word.
Could be false, I suppose, but often they talk about fake, don't they? Often fake is the key word at the moment, isn't it? So now, but then again, is it really fake? If it's I mean, you could say Hollywood is completely fake. Often it's just sort of stories, isn't it? But is that really fake? It's kind of entertainment, isn't it? So often it's entertainment as well, isn't it? I think so. Maybe it's a bit harsh. Sometimes say fake. Anyway, so Elena, you were in first today. So do you fancy going first? It's
Yeah,
your choice.
I
Okay.
don't mind. Yes.
So over to you then. Good
Mhm.
luck.
AI SOAP summer is here. AI image and video generation tools have gone mainstream, with millions creating content and using them on platforms like TikTok and YouTube. Social networks such as Facebook and Pinterest are also seeing a surge in AI-generated posts. Meta is actively promoting this trend as AI content is easy to produce and often gives higher engagement, creating more opportunities to sell ads. Much of the AI generated content is what criticals call AI slop, low quality material often produced by low wage workers in developing countries aiming to harvest clicks on platforms like YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. This content frequently spreads further via messaging apps like WhatsApp and is often political in nature. One growing genre features right-wing fantasy videos portraying acts of revenge of defiance by MAGA figures such as Donald Trump or Pam Bondi. These are typically just still images with overlaid text, clearly fictional. Left-leaning versions exist too, though they more often rely on real footage, such as Jamie Raskin or Jasmine Crockett dismantling, dismantling Republican talking points in Congress.
Yes. Yes, that's nicely read, I thought. Very good. So that word there is pretty much as you said it at the end. So dismantling. Do you know the mean? Do you know the word? Do you dismantling?
No, no, like,
So if you dismantle something, you're taking it apart. If when I was a child, I might dismantle a clock, the alarm clock, because it interested me,
mm-hmm.
and I had it in pieces. I couldn't put it back together again, but there you go. But here, they're dismantling an argument, the sort of discussing what someone is saying and then disseminating it, taking it apart, dismantling it to understand it, and presumably destroying it, I guess. If you say you're dismantling someone in this sense, normally it means you're sort of destroying their argument normally, because that's an opinion if they really are destroying them, of course. Anything that struck you there besides that word, maybe? Some interesting things. A good number, I think, there might be.
Mm. Mhm. Second paragraph of revenge or defiance by
Yeah.
MAGA figures.
Yes, yes.
All these words.
All of them.
Yes,
Okay.
all of them.
So let me just read it so I might be understand it too. Okay, so one growing genre features right-wing fantasy videos portraying acts of vengeance or defiance by MAGA figures such as Donald Trump or Pat Bondi. So, okay, so genre, you could just say type. One growing type of video, so it just means type really. It's a sort of a French word or a fancy way of saying type. Fantasy to the portraying. So revenge, if you're angry, if you've got to say a boyfriend or a girlfriend and you're angry at them and they've done something to you, you might want to have revenge on them. So you do something, they do something to you and you do something to them. Sort of a nasty thing. Perhaps it's tell a story or I don't know, or make them look bad. So that's revenge. And defiance, let's look up the word defiance. It's an interesting word. So what does defiance mean? He's got a defiant look on his face. In that photo, it's a very defiant look. So, so a refusal to obey something or someone, the act of defying someone or something, acts of defiance. So it is this idea of,
Like a rebellion,
sorry,
like a rebellion, revolution.
rebellion.
Yes.
Sort of, but it might be entirely quiet. It might just be the look on that person's face. If you're, say, at work and your boss tells you to do something and you know, oh no, that I've done that 100 times, it's stupid. You might just have a defiant look on your face, and they might say, you're looking very defiant, and they may understand what's going on, but they still told you to do it. So yeah, so defiance isn't really rebellion, but it might be at the root of it, sort of a thing. Rebellion and defiance are two different things, as such, I would say, on the whole. It's a bit of a weak description there. So let's go to a proper dictionary. Indifference is there for some reason. Probably from last time. So defiance. So defiance. Defiance is behavior or an attitude. It's probably more attitude nowadays, but it could be, obviously it can be behavior too, which shows that you are not willing to obey someone. I suppose that's it really. So resistance, challenge, opposition, confrontation, defiance. Most of the time it's just sort of visual or the odd way something is said. So let's go back in. So here, of course, it would be in a video. In some way, they're showing their defiance about something. Okay. So MAGA is the sort of name that Donald Trump, the president of America, has come up with for his wing of the Republican Party. It's sort of a political party, you might say. So, does that make sense? All those words. Are you still with me?
Yes, I just thought maybe it's some kind of cartoon or some mm, pictures.
I think they
Not
are.
a politician abbreviator.
I think the whole sentence is talking about sort of the AI slops thing. So I imagine on perhaps on YouTube or maybe it was
Ah,
WhatsApp, there's some sort of a fake video which shows defiance about MAGA and Donald Trump, etc., etc. These things.
it means make America great again.
Oh yeah, that's what it stands for. Yes, yeah. That's the catchphrase that Donald Trump has come up with. Make America great again. That's it, yeah. And he's sort of taken over the Republican Party pretty much.
So Pam Bondi is a
Yeah, I
politician.
think Pam Bondi, I think works in one of his. There's actually YouTube here. Let's just search the name though. I don't know exactly what her position is. So I'm just searching it now. This may not help, of course. Oh, is she the lady
Yes,
who?
secretary.
Yeah, so Pamela Joe Bondi is American attorney, lobbyist, and politician who has served in the 87th United States Attorney General since 2005. So she just works in the party. She works in the legal side, but basically works for Donald Trump.
Wow, and
She's
she's
one of one of
9
his
years
team.
old.
But supposedly she's 59 years
Wow.
old. If she's 59 in that photo, she's doing really, really well. That's incredible, isn't it? 59.
Maybe it's a AI image.
Yeah, but I think if you're on television, uh, there's no sort of amount of money which can be sort of not be spent on you to give you a good look, I suppose. But that's incredible. So I think she sort of represents sort of MAGA and Donald Trump,
Mm.
but on the legal side, I guess. Being that she's Attorney General. Anything else there?
Overlaid text.
Overlaid.
Yes, overlaid.
So when you make a video, you can lay words over the photos. I mean,
Mm.
you or I probably couldn't do it very easily, but if you go onto the news, you often see like um, new leader of the party, and there's a picture of a person who is the new leader, and it's the words are stuck over his face. So
Mm.
this is what overlaid text
Maybe.
means. So they've
Mhm.
got the words and they've stuck it on the picture on his face or her face or whatever it is. But they're also saying it's clearly fictional. So of course this is the fake side of it or the AI slop side of it. And seeing the next couple of words just here, I can't remember what you said, but you didn't say leaning. I think you might have said learning or something else.
Oh,
So
maybe.
so when it says left leaning, what do you think that means? So I'll read it to you, but what does left leaning mean? So I'll read it to you now. So it says left leaning versions exist too, though they though they more often rely on real footage such as Jamie Raskin or Jamie Crockett dismantling Republican talking points in Congress. So what does left-leaning mean? Any idea?
Uh, l- to lean, it means
Hmm.
to keep forward your body, upper
Yeah,
body, a
that's
little
right.
bit forward.
Yeah.
So
So
left
if you're
leaning
walking,
is
that's right. If you're
left.
walking along the road, you need
Mhm.
to lean forward very slightly. And as you're falling forward, you start walking forward at the same time. That's
Mhm.
true. But here it's not about walking, is it? We're talking about AI videos and things, so, or even politics. So what does it mean in this sense, though? And just before leaning is a little hyphen, and it says left leaning. So what does left leaning mean? Any idea?
So it's maybe it's tilt to the left, something like that. Oh, it's more communist, maybe wing.
That's the idea. That's basically the idea here. But being that it's American, I can't believe it will be communist. I find that very hard to believe. But it's more sort of socialist that way. So Trump is famously right wing, So the opposite of him or his opponents will be left-leaning, you can say.
Mhm.
Okay.
Interesting. Mhm.
So it's sort of politics, really, we're talking about here, I guess. Well, this little bit here is about politics, but overall, of course, that's just a side issue. Anything else there? So what is harvest clicks? What's harvest clicks about? This is a link, of course, but we won't click on it. What does that mean? You have to read the few words around it, or that sentence.
It's in autumn.
In autumn.
Usually it's in autumn.
Yes, that's right. In September, autumn time, you often do harvesting. That's true. You harvest the crops.
But I collect
Hmm.
food from the fields.
I'd say 100 years ago, probably most of the world did that. They went out at the end of the year, towards the end of the year, and harvested. But nowadays, less and less people are going out into the fields to harvest, but they go into the office to do their harvesting, don't they? So in this sense here, it's these clicks are clicks you do with a mouse or a computer. These are mouse clicks. So these guys are harvesting mouse clicks. Way of talking about the number of people clicking on YouTube or clicking on Facebook. They're harvesting those clicks. That's what they really mean here. So it's still food, but it's indoors. They're getting it, or harvesting, I should say. So, anything else that you want to go back over again? I noticed, yeah.
Nothing.
So, you're okay with this word here? I think you said it okay. So, what's this word mean? Any idea?
Surge. It's like a wave.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yes, a surge. That's it. That's good. So here it's a surge or a wave in AI generated posts. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's a good way of putting it. Um, so that's mainstream. So that sort of means normal, you could say. What a lot of people are doing, what happens normally, you could say, mainstream.
It's a high popularity.
Yeah, it's pop. That's it. Yeah, with millions creating content. So if millions of people are doing it, it's probably mainstream. Probably. Call out as anything you want to go back over as I quickly fit. I think you said so. This last few words at the end of this paragraph here. So it says opportunities to sell ads.
Mhm.
I think when you said that word there, because it's so short, it wasn't quite clear what it was that you'd said. So I'll just read it again. S-
Advertising.
s- So you know the meaning of the word
Mhm.
ads, do you? So it's
Yes,
short.
I know the meaning.
Yeah, so short for adverts.
Yes.
So opportunities to sell ads. So
Mhm.
just make sure it's clear when you're saying that there's some of these short words because they're over so quickly, you can't really guess so much what is sometimes what someone is saying. So with a word like opportunities, you could probably guess from the first half of the word what the rest of the word was going to be, couldn't you really? But it's such a short word, there's so little of it there, there's very little to guess upon, is there? So be careful with the short words, make sure they're clear. And there was a couple of other things, I can't think what they are now. We've probably done them. Actually, I think we've done them really, haven't we? So it was dismantling, left leaning. So there's right leaning and left leaning. That's the two opposites. But there's also, you could say center politics as well. Some people talk about the center. So obviously not the left, not the right, but it kind of is left and right, but it's more in the middle. It's complicated, I guess. Anything else you want to ask there?
Nothing.
Okay. Anything from you, Giuseppe, about this article here? This little bit,
Yes.
Giuseppe?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything particular then, or just
No, I think you clarified almost everything. So
Okay. So if I just read this little bit here, this second half of the second paragraph, if I read it back to you, could you read it again, Elena, just for practice?
Yes, of
So I'll
course.
read this one here for you. So it's got like the words like genre, because I think when you said genre, it didn't come out quite right. So this is a bit of a French-based word, and it's not you couldn't really guess it from the way it's spelled, I should say. So one growing genre features right-wing fantasy videos portraying acts of vengeance or defiance by MAGA figures such as Donald Trump or Pat Bondi. These are typically just still images with overlaid text, clearly fictional. Left-leaning versions exist too, though they more often rely on real footage, such as Jamie Raskin or Jamie Crockett dismantling Republican talking points in Congress. So your go from there, I think, wasn't it? That's okay. I can't actually hear you, Elena.
Sorry, it's my fault.
Okay.
One growing genre features right-wing fantasy videos portraying acts of revenge or defiance by MAGA figures such as Donald Trump or Pam Bondi. These are typically just still images with overlaid text, clearly fictional. Left-leaning versions exist too, though they more often rely on real footage, such as Jamie Raskin or Jasmine Crockett dismantling Republican talking points in Congress.
That's good. That's really good. Your dismantling was basically just exactly how it should be said, really, I think. I think the ing still needs a bit of work on that one there. And so when we talk about talking points, these are the things that those particular politicians like to discuss, such as, I think the Republicans are often talking about immigration, aren't they? And so that's one of their talking points. The Republicans like to talk about certain things. So that's a talking point. That's what that means.
Mhm.
So let's just go back to these couple of words here. So that's genre. I'm saying it in a very French way. It's a simpler way. I don't think there is a simpler way. Well, let's just pop it into the dictionary. Do they say it's slightly? I'm putting a bit of too much of a French accent on there. How do they? What's the other way of saying it? So genre is the classic sort of way of saying it. How do they say it?
Genre.
There's no other way of saying it. So it's just genre. But basically it means type, group, even school, I suppose. Okay. So it's a type of, normally it's artistic, so literature, painting, film, or art. Yeah. Okay. But here, of course, talking about genre of YouTube videos, I think, wasn't it? So genre. Do you want to give that a go? Genre.
Genre.
And again, mate.
Genre. Genre.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Genre. Yeah. So starts with a G, but we're sort of saying je. It's not really a G sound, really, is it? I don't think. And so that's defiance. Defiance. So not doing what someone else really wants you to do. So try that one again, maybe. So defiance.
Defiance.
Yeah, you've got that's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah. Okay. So okay, great. Let's roll on to just happy if that's okay. We'll scroll on then.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. There we go. So this is your bit here. Good luck.
AI-generated content is also increasingly surfacing in search results, often pushing aside higher quality human-created material. E-commerce platforms like Amazon are flooded with AI-generated product descriptions, user reviews, and even entire books. Some news organizations have started publishing AI-written articles, especially in sports and news roundups, many riddled with inaccuracies. Recently, the Chicago Sun-Times and the Philadelphia Inquirer unintentionally ran book list inserts featuring AI-generated descriptions of books that don't actually exist. Right now, much of the AI-generated content online can still be distinguished from genuinely human-made material. Take for example, a viral AI video from April that depicted overweight US factory workers, a satire of Trump's tariff policies. It looked very realistic, but still gave off that unmistakable generated vibe. Still, the line is blurring fast. Consider the recent viral clip of an Australian woman trying to pass airport security with service kangaroo. It raked up over 1 million likes before it was revealed to be AI generated. Some viewers saw through it, many did not. The video proved that with a semi-plausible premise and decent AI tools, the boundary between real and fake can dissolve entirely.
Yes, very good reading. Very good. Brilliant. So anything you want to talk about there or ask about or anything? Anything struck you there?
Riddled in the first paragraph. Riddled with inaccuracies.
Oh, riddled. Yes, riddled. Yes, that's it. That's it. Yeah, so riddled with inaccuracies. So often in this sense, riddled is a bad, normally a bad thing to be to have it described as. If you're a gardener, you might use what's called a riddler. A riddler. And basically it's a metal grill with lots of holes in it, and it's a way of sorting out different sized pieces of soil or stone. So it's a bit like a colander. When you're cooking, say, spaghetti, and you want to lose the water, you pour that into a colander so the water goes through the holes and you keep the spaghetti inside the colander. Does that make sense? And a riddler is something you might use in the garden. But here, in this sense, they're saying this is full of holes or full of, in this sense, with inaccuracies. That's what they mean by riddled here.
Yeah, thank you.
So you might say, my boat is riddled with holes and is letting the water in. Or if someone was shot, you might say several times, you might say they were riddled with bullets or bullet holes, maybe, or something like that. Okay. Anything else?
Maybe this phrasal verb, so to give off or gave off in this sense, in the fourth line of the second paragraph. It looked fairly realistic, but still gave off that unmistakable generated vibe.
Yes. So the idea of gave off.
Yeah.
That bit there. So it's a little bit like if something is smelling, it's giving off a smell. There's a sort of odors are emitting from something. And in this case, it's giving off a vibe or a feeling that it's fake. So when you say that's the gave off bit, it's something is transmitting out of something. It could be perhaps if as in the sense of bad smell might be coming off, but in this sense it's a feeling. In this sense it's a feeling, and also vibe means feeling, I should say. You might get a bad vibe from somebody, and that's a bad feeling, effectively. And so here, what I think they're talking about here is, if I just read the whole sentence again out loud. So it looked it looked fairly realistic, but still gave off that unmistakable generated vibe. So it's giving off, it's sending a signal that it's fake or it's been made by man and not a genuine video. I think is what they're saying here.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Here in a second. Yeah. Yes, there is also, again, in the first paragraph, yeah, we have news roundups. Yeah, a little.
That's news. Above it or below this one?
Below, just a couple of lines below.
Okay, yeah, oh, I
Sports
see,
and
yes,
news
yeah.
roundups.
So news roundup is almost certainly, I think in this case, it's a summary of the news. So it's not in all the news in all detail, but it's just like the headlines and maybe the first couple of lines of the story, rather than all the details. That's how I would understand a roundup. Okay, but we could just search that to see what the more generalized meaning for that one. So a news roundup. So here they're saying a detailed roundup of the news main stories covered in the UK national newspapers, including a look at the front. So what is a news roundup? Let's look at that one there. So here it says a summary. This is my idea. It's a summary. So 1A, a summary of the most important points of a particular subject, especially the news. So I'd take it's a summary, really, basically. Was something else? So it talked about. Remember the very beginning. If I just quickly flick over to that photo, this one here. Remember it talked about this animal in the article that you just read. So this is the article that it referred to. So this is a kangaroo, and it said something about a service kangaroo. So what is a service kangaroo? It was one of the links. So oh, here we go. Yeah, so I clicked on this link. So service kangaroo. What does that mean? It's a little bit obscure. You'll be doing very well if you know the answer, I think.
Maybe the woman pretended to have a kangaroo, like one of those dogs help blind people to
yes, that's it.
to walk. Yeah, probably.
That's right. Yes. So I'll read that line again. You've got it. Yeah. So consider the recent viral clip of an Australian woman trying to pass airport security with her service kangaroo. And if I rest my cursor on the link, it says, if I read, it says it's from the Forbes website, and it says emotional support kangaroo video goes viral, but it's completely fake. That's it. So the idea is just exactly it. So some people occasionally are so nervous about flying, they might have a pet cat or a kitten or something, but she had a pet kangaroo. That's it. But of course, it's a fake video, but many people didn't realize it. Well done. Very good. So I did notice in the net. So this is a little bit in that there's a couple of titles of newspapers in italics. So this is the Philadelphia Inquirer, and the other one here is the Chicago Sun-Times. And I think both of these are reasonably well known, not very well known, not in Europe particularly, but in America they are. But I think it was the word Inquirer. You just missed that came out wrong, I think, just slightly.
Yeah,
So
I am pretty sure I read it incorrectly. So
yeah, that's okay. So often newspapers do have, so if you're inquiring about something, it means you're investigating it, looking into it, which is obviously what newspapers try to do sometimes. And there was, I think it was the word, yes, it was, I can't remember what happened now, but I think you made us. You slipped up a little bit. It didn't quite sound like surfacing. Oh, surfacing. I think you. Yeah, it's just the way the. So we normally say this word as surfacing, surfacing.
Surface.
So if I just read that top line again, so it says, AI generated content is also increasingly surfacing in search results. So people are searching things online, and they're saying, rather than saying the results coming up, they're saying surfacing.
Surface.
Surfacing, that's it. We looked at inaccuracies. Did we look at inaccuracies? Yeah, so that's inaccuracies, that word. Yeah, inaccuracies. Just say that again.
Yeah, I think I pronounced you instead of u. Inaccuracies.
Yes, there was something like yes, it was just it's a slight slip up, really. And I think you said this word a couple of times. I think you got there eventually. So do you want to just say it again? This one in blue here, just for practice.
Genuinely.
Yeah, pretty much. I more say it as genuinely, genuinely.
Genuinely.
So
Genuinely.
it's true. Let's stick it in here. Let's see what happens. Let's take off the ly. It doesn't like these the adjectives, does it? So let's take that off. So let's just do genuine. That's often a little bit easier. Let's listen to how they say it. Genuine.
Genuine.
Genuine. Yeah, okay. So I think they're saying there's emphasis here, back here on the E really. So genuine, genuine. Do you want to give it a go? Genuine.
Genuine.
Oh, that sounds really good.
Genuine.
Yeah, that's really good. Genuine.
Ge-
So let's see if there's an ly adjective down here somewhere. There is, but there's no little. They have it listed, but they don't have a
Yeah, there is. If you scroll
up,
up, yeah, you notice there is the,
a little speaker.
yeah, the speaker.
Or microphone. Yeah, speaker. Oh yes, you're
Yeah,
right. Yeah, there it
yeah,
is. There it is.
in
So
blue.
let's listen to it. That's an adverb, isn't it? Here we go. So
Genuinely.
okay, you'll go.
Genuinely.
Yeah, you're getting there. You're getting there. So listen again.
Genuinely.
Genuinely, you'll go.
Genuinely.
Um, it's getting better, but it is still wants a bit of work, that one. So let's try to think about that. I think you're rushing it very slightly. So with the word genuine, it's supposed they're saying here it's heartfelt, sincere, honest, earnest. There's another way of putting earnest. In other words, it's real. It's something that's really happened. It's true. So that's genuine. Let's listen to genuine again, and we go back to the main word. So genuine.
Genuine.
Genuine. Yeah, so they are saying slightly different to me, aren't they? So genuine. Genuinely. Listen to genuinely again.
Genuinely.
So do you want to give it one more go? So genuinely. You'll go.
Genuinely.
Oh, that's your best one so far, I think. Yes. So maybe once more. So genuinely.
Genuinely.
You'll go.
Genuinely.
Yeah, I think the other one was better. You've lost it a little bit, but that's still pretty good. But yeah, I could definitely understand what you were saying from that. So it's just the I guess where the emphasis is. So they're saying it's on the E, genuinely, genuinely. So,
Genuine.
so I guess it is you win, genuine, isn't it? So,
Genuine.
genuine. So I don't think it is I think it's the syllables, isn't it? So first of all, you win. Can you,
Genuine.
can you try it that way? Genuine, genuine.
Yeah. Genuine.
Okay. So that's broken up a little bit. So let's go back to the word we're looking at. So genuinely,
genuinely,
genuinely. Your go.
Genuinely.
Yeah, I think that's really getting there. I think. Yeah, that's pretty good. I think. Still was a little bit of work. When I'm listening, I it that here it's a G, but it's when I'm listening, I get the feeling he's pronouncing it with a J. I know J and G are very similar, of course, but I can't. I get the feeling you're saying genuinely, but I know you're not saying that. But so Jen. So just be aware of that. Maybe just start with a Jen because it does sound a little bit like Jan, well, only slightly. I'm not saying it's full on that. So just be aware of that. Maybe. So obviously there's a difference. I'm saying. So if we go back to the article, anything else you want to go back over there? Genuinely. Inquirer, I looked at that. I think that was everything I noticed, really. It was a good reading, very good reading. So, do you fancy rereading this little bit here, maybe? Is it okay
Yeah.
if I read it first, then it's your go?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I'm perfect, of course. Let's listen. Let's see how many mistakes I can make. So right now, much of the AI-generated content online can still be distinguished from genuinely human-made material. Take, for example, a viral AI video from April that depicted overweight US factory workers, a satire of Trump's tariff policies. So I've finished. So it's over to you. Your go. Tricky, but over to you then.
Right now, much of the AI-generated content online can still be distinguished from genuinely human-made material. Take, for example, a viral AI video from April that depicted overweight US factory workers as a satire of Trump's tariff policies.
Yeah. You broke up a little bit in the middle, so I couldn't exactly hear what you were saying, but it sounded pretty good. Yes. So when I say broke up, the signal wasn't quite clear enough for me to hear exactly how you were saying it, but it was pretty good, I think. Are you okay with the word satire? You said it very well, I think. Satire, the meaning, etc.
Yeah, kind
Great.
of funny way
Yeah.
to talk about or depict someone.
Yeah, that's it. Yes. Another way of putting it is definitely is also the idea of making fun. It's definitely at their expense. So you're making them look silly and having fun. So it's quite a difficult thing to achieve sometimes, really. Yeah, that's it, Ray. You've got it. You've got it. Maybe the word workers. So workers. So I think maybe the R and the K were a bit heavy, I suppose. So, but then again, it's very hard to get it right, especially when you're concentrating on doing it properly. So workers, perhaps. Anything you want to go back over again? It's almost 7 o'clock in London, so slightly under the hour, I guess.
Oh, I think the examples are very nice and clear. So, in particularly the last sentences, it's a semi-plausible premise. So it means that there are people who easily believe in maybe artificial productions, and yeah, maybe
Yes.
good tools make the rest. So yeah, it's a combination between the attitude to believe and the use of good tools. So
Yes, I suppose that's interesting. Yes. Mm. So at one point we did look at that picture, the fake overweight factory worker, didn't we? So was it this one here? No, I've forgotten where it was now. Oh, it's this one here, isn't it? So as a straight photo, it looks very believable, doesn't it? And of course, this is just one photo from or one still from a short film about it. So this was a moving video of some sort. So that photo on itself is just very believable, I think, anyway. So you say good tools. I would say close to perfection, very close to perfection, I would say.
I think you are more expert than me, but I think that the worker has a different, I don't know, technically speaking, how to say in Italian, it is kind of focus. So, but is too clear, too neat, respect to the sewing machine. So it could be the opposite, because the sewing machine is closer, and so yeah, in the backstage we have two workers that are not so neat as images because of the camera, but I think the worker is too kind of evident. I don't know how to say in English that. So
you're doing very well.
Yeah, is coming out of the picture, and yeah, it is.
There's something
looks like
something
a
unrealistic, something unrealistic about it.
It is realistic, but it looks like a collage.
Collage. Oh, I've got you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. So I don't know what will happen if I play the video, but I think it's only it's not very long. So let's listen for a moment, see what it says.
A viral AI-generated video mocking President Trump's push to bring manufacturing jobs back to the U.S.
Literally just a few seconds,
has sparked outrage online and intensified the ongoing trade war between Washington and Beijing. The video, created by TikTok user Ben Lau, depicts Americans as overweight, gloomy factory workers toiling in sweatshop-like conditions, all set to traditional Chinese music. In one scene, Americans in gray uniforms assemble iPhones on an assembly line, mimicking scenes from actual Chinese factories. The clip, captioned "Make America Great Again," was designed to mock the Trump administration's tariff agenda and its promises to revive U.S. manufacturing. It was reposted to X by user Damon Chen, where it racked up more than 6 million views. But not everyone found it funny.
7.
Commenters on X called out the video for mocking the dignity of blue-collar work, with some sharing personal stories of parents who raised families while working in factories. One user wrote, "My mom worked in a sewing factory for 15 years.
To me.
It was a good job. Thankful she had it." Another said their father built circuit boards on Long Island in the 1990s, recalling a time when factories brought stability to middle-class American life. Others dismissed the video as propaganda and pointed at...
Right, I've stopped it there. Well, basically, it is propaganda, isn't it, I think? Subtle propaganda, though. That's the thing. It's very subtle. Yeah, fascinating. Interesting. I loved a very good overview, I think you gave there. There's something odd about the picture, isn't it? There is something odd. I mean, can't quite pin it down, the picture of the overweight worker. It's too well, I don't know what it is, really. But they do talk about... with AI generated stuff, it could be pictures. They talk about uncanny valley. Have you ever heard of this idea? This idea when talking about AI material, they talk about there's an uncanny valley feel about it. So I just searched that. Let's stick it into the defiance one this time.
Yeah, I came across this definition a few years ago.
Oh, okay. So do you want to say a little bit about it as I click on it, maybe? Possibly.
Yes, I came across this this definition while I was watching again the movie Blade Runner, and the uncanny valley describes that feeling a person can have, maybe watching something like human or humanoid, but that makes him weird feelings, or kind of, I don't know how to say in English.
Weird feelings is half of it, I would say. That's very
exactly.
good. Weird
Yeah,
feeling.
exactly.
You said that. You said that. Yeah.
This is reference.
So the definition here. So the phrase is uncanny valley. Uncanny valley. So it's not an obvious. It's clearly an idiom. It doesn't really make any sense in itself, but it's the meaning which is been placed onto this, I guess, really. So it says, used in reference to the phenomenon whereby a computer-generated figure or humanoid robot bearing a near identical resemblance to a human being arouses a sense of unease or revulsion in the person viewing it. So we looked at the very beginning at this photo here, and we know that's just ridiculous as a photo. Is this man having a relationship with a robot? But it's ludicrous, isn't it? This is nowhere near uncanny valley. But if the robot was a little bit, well, considerably more humanoid looking, then we would get to this point where there was something odd about it. Well, it is a human, I think. I'm sure it is, but it just looks weird. And that's the same thing I think you were pointing out when we were looking at the American guy at the sewing machine. There's something just odd. But the thing is, it's getting harder and harder to spot that oddity, that uncanny valley. This is clearly a robot. But the truth is, of course, this guy is also AI generated, I believe. And so, yeah. So he's at an uncanny valley as well as the robot, you could say. Okay. So let's go back to the uncanny valley bit. Yes. So you watched Blade Runner. So I think we've gone over the article. We've finished with the article, I guess, now. That, I suppose, really Blade Runner is, I suppose, is AI gone crazy, you might say, isn't it? Really, Blade Runner, the film.
Yeah, I watched that movie, and actually the whole atmosphere and the places where the story is placed is quite made me just to mention a term you shared with us, uneased me, and it was not easy. But nowadays I have the same feeling when I see, for example, adverts about AI managed tools to learn English with tutors who resemble men or women, but their face, their faces, their expressions are are so weird. I'd say excessive, and we have lots of muscles in our face to express feelings, sensations, and so. But with AI, they are able to concentrate lots of expression almost without movement. So, and it is a little difficult to accept. Maybe I come from old school, and
Disconcerting, yes.
Yeah, disconcerting.
Off-putting. That's it,
Yeah,
yes.
disconcerting. Yeah, exactly.
So Elena, have you had any experience of this at all, where it's not really a human you're dealing with, and you get that sort of weird feeling, an uncomfortable feeling when you're dealing with something online, maybe, or a photo?
I just remember I've read an article about a human robot in Japan. It's very
Oh,
common
yes.
there because it's a problem. There's plenty of single people in Japan. People don't want to create families. So men sometimes use sex robots. They look like real women. So with realistic skin, with mimics, with gests, everything.
Wow.
Good point. Yeah.
Makes you think that, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it is becoming a new chapter in psychology or in psychiatry. So people falling in love with this kind of robots, and I think Elena described perfectly what can happen sometimes. So
But they do have a special interest in robots in Japan, though, don't they? A very special interest in it, and they're sort of pretty much world leaders, I believe, aren't they? I don't know how the love robots fit in. I've never met one of them. Wow. That blows my mind. I haven't heard of that. I suppose it must happen sooner or later everywhere, I guess.
But they're not very expensive. It's about $2,000, something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I
the
assumed it'd
car
be
is more
hundreds of
expensive.
thousands. God, Benny.
So if you're interested, I'd recommend to read this article
You
or
recommend them?
watch
So you've
videos.
tried them. You've
No,
tried them then,
don't
have
try,
you?
maybe just
You can only recommend something if you've tried it, you see. That's really what recommend implies. You can't recommend something
maybe
without trying
just
it. Okay, I won't
watch
embarrass you any
video
longer.
or make survey about this.
Or
No.
maybe we better stop the recording at this point.
My recommendation is more innocent. So if you have the opportunity to watch the movie Brian and Charles, it's an English movie. It is very, very nice. It's a story of one old man and who lives alone in the countryside, and he built up a robot, and that or who becomes his best friend, and yeah, it's a nice way to describe the
So is that
presence of the
Is that Charles? The robot is Charles, then, is it?
Brian and Charles,
Brian and Charles. Okay.
and also the ending of the movie is very interesting.
Well, don't spoil it. I must see
No,
that then.
it is interesting.
Okay. Right, okay. Well, we'll end the recording at this point then, on that excellent note.